When I was a kid, I had a vague interest in photography. I remember I got a little film camera for my birthday or Christmas or something, and it was a disposable camera that was Ninja Turtle themed. It had like a little Ninja Turtle that would be printed like on the photo itself when you took a photo. And I used that for a while, but kind of lost interest. And it wasn't until years later when I was in high school that I picked it back up again, took a film photography class, and I really enjoyed myself in that class. But it didn't really stick as like a hobby or an interest for that long at that point. So it wasn't until years later when I was in college and a friend of mine was doing a presentation and he wanted someone to take photos for him. And so I looked up like how to take photos and, you know, lighting and what to do and some composition things. And basically I didn't have a camera, a real professional camera at the time. So I just used my phone. The photos turned out okay, but like that got the spark that, you know, got me interested. And it just kind of grew from there. And I'm sure like a lot of other people, I just like really became obsessed at that point. I just consumed everything I could to learn about photography, composition, the technical side of things, like the exposure triangle and all that. And then, you know, you start learning about photographers in general. You know, like all of the typical famous names. And then I learned about street photography. I just, you know, came across it as I was doing all of this, learning all of this. And I was just, it really sucked me in. And like it was just something that I had never seen before, and it really like opened up my eyes. And it was just like kind of surprising to me that, you know, this was an art form, that you went out and you made photos of people on the street and in public places. And at the time I didn't think about like, you know, going out and doing it at first. I just thought like, wow, this is like amazing artwork. And I didn't really necessarily think until a little bit later, like, you know, the photographer goes out in the street, takes photos of people. It's obviously like different. It's kind of weird. Like you're taking photos of people in public places. But yeah, so I learned the greats, the masters of street photography, like Henry Cartier-Bresson and all of the other guys and women. And like as I was learning about all of these photographers, I kind of narrowed in on the ones that like really, you know, their photos resonated with me. And it kind of took a while to you know, find what really, you know, I like. But a couple of the photographers were like Alex Webb, Constantine Manos, David Allen Harvey, Robert Frank, and, you know, several others. But those were the ones that like really stuck with me and just like had me in awe of like, you know, what they could do with street photography. So I think one of the other things that really drew me into street photography was just authenticity. Like we're used to seeing like all of these very polished photos and like, you know, beautifully photoshopped photos of, you know, glamour and portraits and stuff that just looks perfect. And there's obviously a place for that, and I'm not knocking that at all, but I just loved how street photography was just very authentic and real and gritty and like, dirty even. And like it just made you feel like you were there on the street. And like even though it is all those things, it's also like an art form where the photographer puts their spin on things. And yeah, that was just something that really stood out to me in like, and it was very different from other types of photography and other types of art forms. So for me, the next step after learning about all of these great photographers was going out and doing it on my own. And that was always kind of like, I don't know, like some romantic idea for me, is that it's like an adventure that you go out and you're kind of like, you're on the hunt or you're fishing and you're constantly looking for the next photo. And a great photo could happen at any moment. And that was, like really exciting for me. And also it was like, you could pair street photography with travel and make it like, your passport for doing whatever you want to do. Go wherever you want to go, see places that you haven't really seen before. When a lot of us go on vacation or we go travel someplace, people will stay in their hotel room or stick around their hotel room, their hotel, and eat at the hotel and not go see like the local culture or restaurant or music or whatever. And street photography was this excuse to like be different and go out there and like really see the world. Also, another thing I noticed with street photography, like after I started doing it, is that like it helps you live in the moment, which sounds maybe a little corny, but like in today's world, we just get stuck doing so many things that are just like, you're in like a digital world, scrolling social media or whatever, watching TV. And with street photography, you're out in the real world on the street. Like you're, out in the sunlight, in the fresh air, you're walking, you're being active. And I think like once you, kind of snap out of it, and maybe, for other people, it could be, something else could help them snap out of kind of living a sedentary lifestyle or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, street photography was just a way for me to be like, okay, like there was like, this whole side of life and the world that I just wasn't appreciating before. So I'm curious to hear from other photographers, if you come across this video, how did you get into street photography? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.